Our deepest belief is that life is about fully living it, really, every single day. And not because of the cliche that life is too short and you should enjoy it, but because really, life, every single morning that we wake up, it's about fully living this life and not just being physically alive, like not just having your eyes open, but actually having your eyes open and feeling it and enjoying it and doing the best that you can with every single moment that you have. And it's our deepest belief for a reason. And
yes, like we didn't invent this, we didn't read it in a book or saw The Secret or another movie, inspirational movie or motivation. It's not about that. It's actually in our DNA. Welcome to our Coffee Talkie show. We have a very special topic today.
so we hope you have your coffee. I think stay cozy with us. It's like a probably like a little bit emotional subject for us to talk about, but we decided to share with you our maybe deepest belief and how we were raised, and there's no surprises, and this is what we're doing right now based on that. So bear with us today.
Take some notes if you want to, and you can always send us questions and wonders, and let us know if you need us. So let's begin today.
So, we're saying a lot here on Smoothie, but if you're following us on Instagram or if you've seen any of our posts or listened to our podcasts, our deepest belief is that life is about fully living it, really, every single day. And not because of the cliche that life is too short and you should enjoy it, but because really, life, every single morning that we wake up, it's about fully living this life. And not just being physically alive, like not just having your eyes open, but actually having your eyes open and feeling it and enjoying it and doing the best that you can with every single moment that you have. And it's our deepest belief for a reason. And
yes, like we didn't invent this, we didn't read it in a book or saw The Secret or another movie, inspirational movie or motivation. It's not about that. It's actually in our DNA, I think. Because basically we were raised this way, and the reason for that is our parents and our grandfather from our father's side. And I think today we're going to share his story. So stay with us, because it's a really special story that might sound a bit sad, but actually that's our biggest legacy, and
it's the most valuable life lesson that we ever got. And even though it might sound a bit sad, as you said, or emotional, and you will see us, like we get emotional just talking about that, but it really is the core and the essence of living.
Yeah. And it's the perfect timing for us, because
in just 10 days, like it's really, really close. Okay, we're gonna, in 10 days, and we're gonna celebrate, because we're gonna celebrate that our grandpa passed away a year ago. So emotional moment for us, very authentic here on our podcast, but
remember, this is not a sad
thing. This is about, like, we celebrate, okay? So let us maybe start from showing you a little bit of like why this person, why this grandpa means so much to us, and what was this life lesson that he gave us.
So let's begin.
Woo! Breathing in,
Let's
breathing
go
in.
back in time and history to the years before the Second World War.
Yes.
In Poland. This is where he was born. His name was
You really? Okay.
His name was Shlomo, or Sevek in Polish, and he was born in a Jewish family, a nice, happy family. You know, he was always telling us that life before war was happy and cozy, and he had a joyful life with his family, his mother and his father. He went to the park with him, had a happy childhood until he was 5 years old.
Yeah,
this is when the war began, and everything changed in one single moment. So, to put you more into context, his father had a jewelry store. He made clocks, watches, and he had a lot of jewelry in his store. So they had like a nice life, financially. And in just one moment in time where the German invaded Poland, his father had to close his shop, lose
everything they had,
every material thing they had, and they had to run away. So we won't share with you all those stories, but remember this, this is what he told us. In one moment, his life turned from happy, joyful, and having everything he needed to having nothing. And this is where fear came into his life and not knowing what the future holds.
Yeah, and every single day was about choosing. Do I live or do I surrender? Every single damn day for the next 5 years of his life were about that. It's about making a choice. It's about dealing with all the craziness of humankind that happened during that time, and he had to go through a lot. But as you can imagine, because we're here, he made it out alive. And we're not gonna go, as I said, we're not gonna go deep inside what he had to go through. But if you are a bit familiar with the Jewish history of Europe back in 1940s.
Not only Jewish, whole Europe during those 5 years is, let's say, chaos. And very uncertain, very scary, frightening, and for Jewish people it was really hell. Let's say hell. Okay, he went with his family to concentration camps and work camps and extermination camps, and like Gal said before, he had a couple of times major moments where he had to choose, imagine a 7-year-old or a 6-year-old or 8-year-old, because it lasted 5 years. He had to choose, do I go here or there? Do I fight and stay alive, or do I surrender?
And this is war. And I wish we could say it's beyond us, it's in the past. But if we have to be a little bit honest about that and share with you, look at what's going on in today's world. There's still war, there are still places where people have to choose every single morning. Will they live or will they surrender? It's something that is fundamental in our way of living, and history repeats itself, but we're not here to share with you this story because we want you to remember what happened, or because this is the part of it. No, the important part of it, and that's why we started with telling you, it's about celebrating life. Our grandpa went through those 5 years and had seen things that no kid should have seen, and has dealt with things that no kid should human should ever deal with. And he went out of it alive because he made a choice. He made a choice.
He made a choice, and his parents made the choices for him during this whole time, you know. And I want to say something, that during war and hard times, really, really hard times, you go on survival mode, and like it's sometimes stronger than you to want to live, okay? So you do things in order to survive, like your body biologically react to things that helps you stay alive, and you make choices, and sometimes you even regret them, but this is what you did to stay alive. But it's not about that. It's about, you know, getting out of this 5 years hell and saying, this is what he said. I don't understand humankind or why those things happen to me. I'm trying to. He spent his whole life trying to understand humankind and didn't succeed. But saying to yourself, I don't understand, but I'm alive right now, and for some reason I stayed alive, and I'm going to, you know, enjoy it fully, not in the have fun way, but, you know, make the most of this life that I got, because, you know, it's there. And our grandfather he didn't believe in God or wasn't religious at all, and neither do we. But there's something that he always said, like, I'm here and I'm going to stay here and make the most out of it. And this is not a life to be sad about or to fight or to, you know, hurt others. This is not what life should be about. Life is about living.
Yeah. He was the one teaching us acceptance,
yeah,
and love, and celebrating life. And I can share with you a very personal moment that I had with him growing up. Okay, so we had a lot of conversation with him as young kids. He always shared those tiny bits of philosophy. He was very big into philosophy. Yeah. And you know, as a kid, you don't always understand this, but this desire to live, go after your dreams, travel, do things because you want them, even if they are the stupidest things. Like, he would go after things that he wanted to do, even if it wasn't the right thing to do. If he wanted to, he went after it. And it's only later on, when I got older, that I had the chance to talk to him about a lot of those moments and a lot of those things. But there is one moment that became a big shift in my life. And usually around his birthday, we would have, it's actually his birthday, but also the memorial for the Second World War. It happens usually around the same time. And I always had those long conversations with him, no matter where I lived, funny enough, like whether it was in France, in London, in Dublin, in Israel, I always had those long conversations, phone calls with him. And about a couple of years ago, I was traveling Australia around this time. And I don't know if it was the time differences or my travel that made me completely lose track of the days. And I forgot. And I realized it like 2 days later that I missed his birthday and the Memorial Day. And I gave him a call and I was like, I'm so sorry that I missed our phone call, and I'm so sorry that we didn't have to share this moment that we've had for so many years now. And he said to me, I'm happy. I'm happy that you forgot. And I was like, how come? Like, I love talking to you, don't you? And he said, because it's the first time you lived fully on this day, and that's why you forgot to do other things that you are used to do, or just went with the flow. And here you are, 2 days later, you remembered and you called. And we had this long, very long call on this day, and we were talking about what it means to remember this like time of history and what happened in Europe. For, let's face it, there are the Jewish part, as we said before, but there are 22 million people that suffered and like are not here anymore because of this period of time. And he was like, you know, maybe it's time to stop remembering those who passed, those who were murdered, those who were like tortured during this time. Maybe it's time to celebrate those who are alive, to celebrate what everyone fought for. And he was like, I didn't survive this war so you can be sad about what I went through. I survived this war so I can give you a legacy of choosing life. And I was traveling Australia and following a dream of mine, and he was like, you finally went there. You've been talking about Australia for like 10 or 15 years. You finally went there. Live it fully. Enjoy every single damn day. And celebrate life. Every moment that you got. Even on bad days. Even on days that you have no idea what you're doing. Celebrate life. Celebrate your choices. Tomorrow is another day. You can make another one if it doesn't feel right. But right now, celebrate life. And this has been a pivot moment for me, because since that call, I had a chance to have a couple more with him, and every time it was about that. What are we celebrating? How can we celebrate it even more? How can we live it even more? How can we enjoy life?
And you know, you gotta understand how controversial this approach is, because we grew in a country and in a society where it's always like remembering in sadness and being, you know, very emotional and sad about what happened in Europe during the Second World War, and what happened to all those people that were murdered, and what happened in those camps, and how horrible it is, and what can we do today to remember those sad years, those hard, horrible years. And this is how we grew up, you know. There are days in the year where you need to be sad, where you need to remember someone that died and be sad. And he was like, no, don't be sad. Because life is not about those struggles. Life is not about being sad all the time. Life is not about always remembering the past and staying there, you know, being afraid of what will happen in the future because of the past. It's not about that. And like you had a conversation with him, this was his philosophy, you know, and he was an activist, and he's done a lot of things in his life to show that war is horrible and fighting against each other is horrible, and humankind should not do those things, because this is not what life is about. This is not what we are here for, you know. And he always said, I've gone through what I've gone through, and he didn't really like to talk about those hard moments, because he said it's not about the past, and it's not about what I've gone through. It's about the fact that I survived, that I'm alive, and, you know, thanks to this, he created a family, a big one.
Yeah.
And he had legacy, and, you know, and spread love, you know. We always talked about spreading love and connection with the family. It's about that. This is what he wanted us to remember, that there is love even when there is war.
Yeah.
And there are kind people and happiness and good thing, and this is what we need to look for, and this is where we need to focus on. There are hard, crappy things in this world, there have always been in history crappy things. It's always there. But
and let's face it, there probably always will be,
yeah,
because humankind, yeah?
Yeah.
He looked 85 years to understand why humankind is acting in a certain way. He didn't figure out.
he didn't figure it out, and you know, he always talked, you know, a little bit shit about humankind, saying how stupid people are.
Yeah.
that they are still fighting, you know, and
The
politicians, what they are doing, and never mind, it's not about that, but he couldn't understand why people are spending their time and spending it, you know, doing crap instead of living life and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Okay, he couldn't understand why they are doing it, and this is why he always said to us, like, crap is there, but so is great things.
If you decide to look for them. Now, let's face it, he didn't use words like mindset, and he didn't use words like positive psychology, and
he did use crap.
He did use crap a lot, and stupid a lot, but it wasn't about that. But he always told us, like, even when he had nothing, he decided to choose, okay, but what is?
Yeah.
What am I doing with it right now? He decided to see what can he make out of nothing. And, you know, he had no connection on materialistic stuff. Like, a very funny thing, about 2 years ago, as soon as I came back to France, one of the things that I made myself a promise, that because I've spent the past 10 years not in France, so true, I had a lot of conversation with him on the phone, but I didn't have the chance to be with him as much as I wanted because I was not living here. So as soon as I came back to France, I was like, I have no idea how long does he have left, because, like, let's face it, he was older, and I was like, I'm gonna make the most out of the time that I have with him. So I literally spent almost every single weekend going to have breakfast with him, have long talks, sometimes some walks and do stuff. But one of the things that he said to me was, like, he shared with me a lot of the texts that he wrote and a lot of the things, and he said, like, but guess what? I'm telling you to be very plain right now. Whenever I'm gone, don't look under the carpet. Don't try to tear up, like, the walls. There's nothing there. I have literally left you nothing beside my knowledge and my texts. So everything you need is inside my computer. My legacy has been given to you over the years. You need nothing more. There's nothing materialistic left for you. And I remember laughing so hard because I was like, it really is what he believed in. Yeah. But I said to him, like, but why? I really wanted to know. And I was like, because materialistic things disappear in a moment, as Maayan said.
Yeah, I remember his life began this way. He had everything, you know, back then, jewelry and watches and money and coins, and they had everything. And just in a moment in time, everything disappeared and they had nothing, literally nothing, not even their clothes, you know, nothing materialistic.
Yeah.
But you know, when you have nothing materialistic, this is when you have yourself, like the fullest of yourself. You have your mind, and this is what he had. His most powerful asset would be his mind, you know, and his heart. This is what he had. This is what helped him survive, okay? Yeah. So true, they had bribed some officers with some diamonds, maybe. Like
it did help.
It did help, but it helped for a couple of months, and then nothing. Then you have nothing, and you gotta understand this. We're living in a society, a very materialistic society, where we think that if we have a lot of money and a nice house and a visa and a job, and this is what will make us happy. But actually, this is not in our belief, and this is how we were raised, you know. And when he said to us, I'm gonna leave you nothing materialistic, it's like, okay, great, thank you, we don't need this, we need your love, your kindness.
And we got it.
And you know, this is our grandpa, but our father is actually the same. Since a very early age, he told us, you know, I have money and I'm going to spend it on things that I like and I think they are valuable.
while I'm living.
And I'm not gonna leave you any material legacy. It's not gonna be this way. I'm going to leave you memories, and I'm going to leave you experiences and journeys and fun moments and hard moments also. And this is how you'll grow as a person. You don't need these materialistic things. Yes, they're nice to have. You know, it's nice to have a shirt, and when it's cold, it's nice to have a coat as well, and a roof over your head and food on your table. Yes, it's important even today. But what we were raised on and what we believe today is there are things that are more important than this.
Yeah. And like, when we say that this is the biggest lesson we got it from such a young age without knowing. Like, you can imagine, we didn't have those kind of words or conversations when we were like tiny girls, but as we grew up, we saw it was the way of life. It was how they decided to live. They gave, like, as soon as they retired, I think him and our grandma, they traveled to India for like 3 months. I remember
6 months.
6 months?
Twice.
I was like, that's crazy. They're old people. How they even do that? Like, as a kid, I was like, how is it even? Because
they traveled a lot.
They traveled a lot. They loved travel.
Yeah, he wanted to see the world, and this is what he did. And you know, he always, you know, he valued, for example, knowledge and books.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Oh wow!
So he would spend. We went together a couple of times to like this crazy bookstore that they have here in Paris, and he would spend like hundreds of euros on books. And this is what he valued, you know. I would go with him and he was like, do you like this book? Take it. Do you like this book? Take it. And CDs, and because this is,
yeah,
you know, for him it's not about the book, it's about what's written in there.
And how can he fit the mind? He
Yeah.
was really into fitting his brain, and he was a scientist, so he kept on learning until the very last months of his life. Like, he kept on reading and learning, and he was subscribed to, like, I remember I had to cancel some of his like subscription to all of the different newspapers that he would read, and he would read different opinions, because he was like, I don't only read what I want to read. I read what other people are thinking, because I want to know what other people are thinking, and I accept that there are different ways and different approaches. So again, like, about legacy and about what he taught us. Love is a big thing, but acceptance is a huge thing. About see what's going on out there. You can talk about everything with everyone. You don't have to fight. Even if you have different opinions, talk about it, communicate.
Yeah.
Find what other people are talking about. Experience different cultures, experience different languages, experience different histories.
Yeah. And you know, I found, after he died, I found in his library, I went through his books, like he had more than 5,000 books in his library. And I found like in the same shelf, the Bible, the Quran, the new Bible,
yeah.
Some yogis texts, some Chinese things, like from all the religions in the world. He really wanted to know and to understand it. And I have a very funny story. Like 10 years ago, I think, when I was studying in Jerusalem, he went to visit me, and he always like had this funny relationship with Jerusalem, really loving it on one hand and not understanding religion in general.
Yeah.
So he went to visit me, and we went on a bus together, and there was a religious man standing there, a young man, and with, you know, the whole costume of big hat, black hat, and a long coat, and it was summer, so he was with a big black coat and sitting on the bus. A young man, I think he was not more than 20 years old, and we were sitting next to this man, and suddenly our grandpa, he turned to him and he asked him, "Can I ask you a question?" And the young man said, "Yes, of course." And, "Why are you wearing this coat? Like, how does this help you, wearing this, get more close to God?" And the young man looked at him like, what? Why are you at what? And he was like, I don't want to insult you, you know, it's not about that. I'm not making fun of you. I really want to know, how does this help you be more religious? How does it help you have more faith? Like, how is faith connected to a coat in summer? And the young man, like, he felt insulted. And our grandpa said, no, I really am not insulting you. I'm not making fun of you. I really want to know. And this person was so bugged by me, went out the bus without responding. And then he turned to me and he said, you know what? I really don't understand this. And I'm always going to keep looking for answers because
someone to answer
I
this.
don't know. There are so many things that I don't know, but it's not that I don't like this person. I don't make fun of them. I don't disrespect them, their religion even, you know.
He was very respectful to every religion.
To all the religions.
All religions, all people, all humankind, from him. Like, I remember telling him that I had a German friend. And you know, like, again, it's you need to understand, like, we grew up in a society where it's more complicated, okay? And I remember telling him, and I was a little bit like, can I tell him that I have a German friend? And he was like, amazing. And I was like, okay, this is not like like I was not expecting. And I was like, please elaborate, because the same way that he was curious about everything, he and our father and our mom as well, like everyone, they got us to be very curious about life. And I was like, please elaborate. And he was like, your German friend did nothing wrong. It's great that you are able to see beyond history, that you are able to open your heart. Again, love, acceptance, living life. That's what he valued. And it was like, you are doing this. We didn't fight so that people around Europe will hate each other for the rest of their lives. Great that now you can see beyond this. Great that you can now have friends from different cultures. Great that you can now live in France. Like, you know, if we have to face it, France also had some part of, like, big part in what happened in Europe. And the fact that every time I walk here in the streets and I see those, like, mentions on the walls about what happened here and what happened there and what happened in this place and who was taken from this, I still choose to live in France because I value what they say right now. Do I value what happened here 80 years ago? No. But now, we're not living in the past. We're not living in what used to, what we should think of. When we have, it's in our DNA, the trauma, but also the decision to live life today, present and future, and make the choices based on kindness and love and courage and desire for a better world, and not for, oh, I should be angry at you because this is what you've done in the past. Like, no, let's move beyond that.
Yeah, and you know, life is also not black or white.
No.
It's not that people are this way and not another. It's not that what happened in the past will happen again. It's not about that. Life is complex and full of mixed things. And there are so many people on this earth that we can't generalize, you know, one nation or another. It's not about that. And like, really, life is so complex, but also it has so many wonderful things if we only choose to see, you know, in between the complexity and make it the life that we want, you know. We live in a society. We don't need to neglect society and get ourselves, you know, out to live in the woods in our bubble and, you know, being hippies or I don't know. It's not about that. It's about living in a society, seeing everything, seeing the diversity, seeing the bad and the good, seeing the scary and the hopeful, seeing love and hate, it's there. But what do you choose to see? What do you choose to bring into your heart and into your life?
Yeah.
So we choose every day to bring more joy, to bring more hope, to bring more, optimism, fun,
love, kindness, acceptance, all those things.
And it's not that there aren't bad things in our life, or hard moments, or hate, or war. It's not that. It's there. We just, pick what we want to bring in, and what we don't want to bring in, then great, it's there, we can see it, we can see it, but we don't have to let it in, and we don't have to embrace it and to act, for it. So
yeah, and there are people in your life, whether it's close people or strangers that you just met or people you used to work with or whatever, that are not going to share this philosophy if you ever decide to embrace what we're sharing with you right now. We had a lot of those in our life, people that didn't understand. We still have. I got pissed off this morning at someone. There are people that don't share this belief, and that's fine.
Yep.
As we said, our grandpa looked for 80 years about understanding humankind, and he didn't understand. We're still looking to understand sometimes. But it's about looking at yourself in the mirror. Who are you in this world? What part of life are you? What kind of human are you? And I'd rather be a human being that believes in love and optimism and peace and possibilities and opportunities and joy and life and all of the above rather than hate and war and disagreements and discommunication. I would always value that. I will always vouch for that. I will always pursue this, even if it means I have to cut some people out of my life, even if it means I have to debate it with people, even if it means I need to sit here and talk about it to other people, and hopefully talk with more and more people. And because this is life. This is the life I choose to live every single day. Even if I don't even on days that it doesn't feel so easy or simple, or people get you out of your zone. Okay, they're here for a reason. It's their life. They make their choices. You should make yours.
yeah, absolutely. And you said at the beginning that it's not about the cliche that we only have one life, but we only have one life. Sorry.
Yeah.
And this is right now. Life is happening right now. You don't get a second chance. You don't get to redo it all over again. You don't want to get to the age of 85 years old and say, I wish I've done it differently. This is now. Do it now, so you can still have the opportunity to do it in a way that suits you, that your beliefs, your values are a choice that you make every day, every morning when you wake up. It's like, okay, I'm choosing to live my life in a certain way, and that's your choice. That's amazing. You can share our belief or not. That's totally fine. Just be true to yourself. What are you choosing to live? How are you choosing to live? Who are you choosing to be in this life? This is your choice. And please, oh please, don't say, yes, but my mom, but my husband, but society, but politics, but financial crisis, but war in Iran and Ukraine, and please don't say it. It has nothing to do with who you are in this life.
Yeah.
You get to choose who you are. Like our grandpa chose who he is in his world. Our father chose who he is. Our mother's choosing every day. We are choosing every day. It's about that. And yes, sometimes we get carried around, carried away, but by society and the news, and it happens. We're human. It happens. But when you're aware of this, then you get to notice that you drifted, and you can come back to the life that you want, to the person you want to be. That when you go to sleep at night, you can feel like whole. And I'm happy that I am this person. I'm okay with being this person.
Yeah. And you know, like a lot of people, I love this way of saying it. This is not a rehearsal dinner. You don't have a do-over. You cannot replan it and relive it. It's really right now, as Maayan just said. And it's really about deciding, how do you do that now, so you don't live with regrets. And you know, we said, not a cliche, life is not short because life is short, but actually none of us, even if you go to this amazing fortune teller, no one can tell you when is your last day on earth. No one has this capability. It might be when you're 85, it might be when you're 23, it might be when you're 5, it might be when you're... Don't wait for life to take everything away from you, to change your whole life upside down, to tear you apart, to understand who you really are. Clean those noises, clean those materialistic things, clean those voices from around you, and really ask yourself, what is your life? What is the legacy that you want to leave behind? What is the real truth that is guiding every single step of your way? And then, only then, when things are going to be harder and nicer, you will actually live your life fully the way you want it to be. And that's how you guarantee that on your last day, whenever it's going to be, your last thought would be, I've done it. I've lived my life, the way I wanted to live, no regret. And I think that's what I wish every single one of you, that's what I wish for myself, I wish to you.
Thanks.
To end up life this way, to make sure that whenever you have this last moment, this last thought, it's going to be a joyful one, it's going to be a positive one, it's going to be a feeling of pleasure and content and being like, well, bring it on. I've done everything. I'm done, and I've done everything the way I believe life should be. And
that's so true, you know. And to go back to our grandpa who passed a year ago,
yeah,
when he was on his deathbed, you know, a few hours before he passed away, he was happy.
Yeah.
No regrets.
Yeah.
No regrets. He knew he had love around him. He had joy. You know, a couple of hours before he died, we were doing a Christmas party. We had a little dance for him, and we made fun, and we laughed together. And we had fun. We were playful, and he was happy.
He was happy.
So I don't know. I can't know. I will never know what he thought, you know, in this last moment. But I'm sure he had no regrets.
No regrets. He had the love of his family around him. He had the sense. I know he told it to me a couple of days before. He had the sense of no regret because he wanted to pursue dreams, and he pursued all of them. He left this planet without having a sense of, oh, I wish I've done more, or I wish I've done things differently. He really felt good with the way he went on his life, and that's like the natural ending of an amazing life. And again, it's not that it was an easy life. As you can, like, he had a lot to deal with over his life, and you can imagine, like, if you grew up during the Second World War and you survived it, then you can imagine the trauma that he had to carry for his life, and what happened for many years after. It wasn't an easy life, but it was a good life because it chose it to be this way. And yeah, that's what, like, he gave our father gave us. He directly gave us.
So, the next time you hear us say life is about living,
Yeah.
it's not that we just, read it in a book, or it's not about that. Like, this is in our DNA. It's in our veins. We breathe it every single moment of our day. We chose, and we still do, every day, every moment, to live this life to the fullest. The fullest, and to enjoy it, and to go and pursue our dreams, and to do meaningful things that are meaningful to us, and to be the person that we want to be in this life.
Yeah. And taking it back to what we're doing here, it doesn't really matter where you're currently living or where you are about to live. It's about choosing those places. Now, I don't say every single country is waiting for you, arms wide open, just for you to come. But if you're currently living in a place that is not where you feel you should be because of X, Y, Z, you have your own reasons, then find the place that makes you feel alive. You can understand that people in the past, they didn't have any place waiting for them, but they made choices. They moved. They immigrated, they changed, they found places, they made them feel alive, joyful, happy, valuable, worthy. Choose your words. But no matter where you are, you can find this next step. And if it's where you currently is, amazing. Then enjoy it. Fully live your life every single day. And if at some point it's not the place anymore, then go and look for somewhere else. This is the biggest gift that we have in today's international global world. We can move, we can change, we always find solution if we want it enough. So find your place. Find the place that makes you go, yay, this is my life and I enjoy this life. I live it fully. I don't just go on survival mode. Like, come on, unless you're in a war zone, and there are people like this today, so my heart goes to you. But unless you're in a war zone or in a very hard life situation, don't live on a survival mode. Don't. Life is not about surviving, it's about fully living it.
Yes, so this is what we believe, and again, if you want to share our belief, then we'll be happy to welcome you to our community. And if not, that's totally fine. That's okay. You have your beliefs, your value. Amazing. Use them. Be yourself. That's the only thing we're saying here. Be true to yourself. Act on it. Go chase your dreams. Don't wait for things to magically happen to you. You need to go and do them for yourself. So I think we are going to wrap this topic up. Maybe we'll drink a couple of bottles of waters. So I want to thank you so much for being here and sharing your time with us and hearing us, when we shared our very personal story here. And if you have any questions or you want to share your thoughts with us on this topic, please reach out. You can also send us a message on Instagram, and if you don't follow us there, then you should, and subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. And we're here for you. We're really here for you. And if you need help to recenter yourself and understand who is this person that you want to be in your life, then reach out. We're here for you.
Yes, we wish you an amazing day. Go live your life.
Yes.
To the fullest.
Yes!
And we'll talk to you next week.
Yes, absolutely.
See you
Thank you.
soon. Bye.